Is a significant supply shock for XRP imminent? Are we getting enough? Does its user base continue to decline? I examined the data and contrasted it with the same period this year and previous year. You will be surprised by what you learn from this material. Diana wrote this community post, which we will also read. Now that we're discussing it, let's get down to business. She talks about the subtle supply squeeze that nobody has yet noticed. Long ago, David Schwarz also warned that there might be a significant supply shock for XRP. As more individuals desire the asset, supply is decreasing and demand is increasing. Let's first gain a deeper understanding of the situation. I'll fill you in on the background and give you all the information as usual. Please let me know your thoughts on the provided information by clicking the like button or leaving a comment below. Information. Diana, should we prepare for a major supply shock at this time? Will you pay attention to what this individual has to say? As of right now, XRP, the silent supply pressure, is not being discussed. Diana, thank you. The topic under discussion is Judge Ripple and the joint move it filed, which Taurus blocked. For a variety of reasons, this type of denial may ultimately benefit the market. For this reason, the graph below illustrates how demand is increasing while supply is decreasing. I believe we are witnessing something similar here. Plans for XRP treasury schemes that are specific to each business are already in the works. Additionally, we're observing that a Ripple custody is used by a number of very large institutions, and over the coming years, its impact will be noticed in this sector. We are discussing the creation of more decentralized finance apps on the XRP ledger, as well as tokenizing financial assets on the ledger. The total quantity of XRP required to complete all of this is. Things will function better as a result of all of these factors, so Diana inquires as to what transpired just now. After that, we discuss the Judge Taurus's ruling. There's no compelling need to review it. She claims that Ripple is unable to sell XRP to organizations directly unless those organizations first register, which is largely accurate. In addition, let's review and better comprehend this before I reveal it to you. This implies that instead of getting XRP straight from Ripple, organizations that wish to store significant quantities of it now have to purchase it from exchanges or over-the-counter desks. For this reason, it's crucial to give up bargaining and begin making market-driven purchases. Could you explain Ripple escrow to me? The cryptocurrency can be sold automatically and gradually on exchanges, and Ripple continues to release 1 billion XRP each month. Bulk dumping will not occur as a result. Yes, it is possible to sell drip feeds that are visible. Although it is more difficult to alter, the source is still. According to the Fed, it will be more open and adhere to ISO 2002 starting in July 2025. SWIFT and Wire will adhere to ISO 2002 in its entirety. Banks will find it simple to connect as their systems are updated. This is a result of Ripple's inherent ISO compliance. It's crucial to keep in mind that many of these payment industry platforms are not inherently interconnected. Companies like Ripple, Uncircle, and a few other blockchain infrastructure companies will be needed to connect Web 3 to Web 2's infrastructure because it involves Bitcoin. Additionally, it is evident that these businesses are making improvements to all of these payment messages so that we may send and receive information and messages immediately. Value worldwide, is I correct? It is claimed that banks, fintech firms, and payment corridors will use XRP for liquidity if institutions actually employ it. After that, Ripple will restrict how much XRP it sells. Those coins will then be sold on the open market, where there might be a genuine supply shortage, but this is only likely to happen temporarily. It is best to postpone adoption until July 2025, when ISO rails are scheduled to go online and any lingering legal issues may have been resolved. Due to a supply backlog, you should still conduct your own research even though XRP is experiencing strong tailwinds. Ripple has been unable to sell directly to consumers since ISO Rails was introduced. Large acquisitions can now only be made on the open market to satisfy demand, but the infrastructure is beginning to take shape. When utilities begin to handle auto-load, the real pressure will begin. Integrations with ISO, the appeals process, RippleNet corridors, and many other topics should be discussed. Ripple can sell to banks, according to someone down here at Dark Horse. Since they stated that the majority of ODL's clients were transferred to another subcompany in a foreign nation during the legal process, they ought to be forthright about this while they are in the US. I went ahead and investigated all of this, as only over-the-counter trading in the US is being examined. Is precisely what you're looking for. You want to know what's happening and whether this is accurate. The fact check, if you will, is that Ripple is currently unable to sell XRP to institutions directly unless the transaction complies fully with U.S. securities law. The recent ruling by Judge Annalisa Torres has resulted in a permanent ban on unregistered institutional transactions. This implies that Ripple cannot sell XRP to institutions unless it complies with U.S. securities law standards, which I am unsure of, or files those sales as securities offerings, which they will not do. This is something they might be able to get around because I'm not a securities lawyer. We'll find out in time. That background knowledge is all I wanted to provide, though, so you can better understand what's happening here. As you are aware, Dark Horse might be speaking the truth in this instance. If any U.S. banks are interested in joining, they can do so outside of the country and perhaps find a means to get that XRP across. Seeing how everything works out will be fascinating. By running supply squeeze, I also wanted to see if there was anything we overlooked. When a significant amount of a token's circulating supply is removed from exchanges due to confusion, the cryptocurrency sector experiences a supply squeeze. As a result, there are fewer tokens available for trading, which might result in a significant spike in XRP's price if demand remains the same or even increases. A number of elements are combining to produce a novel phenomena. We don't need to go into too much depth here because we spend a lot of time discussing escrow and the associated legal limitations. The exchange has seen massive withdrawals in recent days. For instance, Bitstamp and Binance have both witnessed the removal of. I'll tell you that right now. A substantial chunk of XRP's value has decreased on several major exchanges. Binance XRP reserve supply, for instance, decreased from 2 to 1. Over $700 million, or $93 billion to $2 billion was removed. We witnessed a significant increase, thus this might be the case. We were receiving an insane number of views at the start of the year, if you recall. Many folks are quite curious about what transpired. XRP is undergoing also. People are becoming less and less concerned about the situation as the months and year pass. But if XRP rises beyond $3, I'm confident they'll return and concentrate. It is highly unusual that this decline occurred simultaneously on multiple exchanges, indicating that large purchasers were. It's possible that businesses planned their buildup. For instance, 100 million XRP would be worth between $200 million and $250 million if you purchased it through an exchange or anything comparable. This implies that, if you are just discussing 100 million XRP tokens, a few hundred million of them are equivalent to 100 million. Everyone has access to that amount of money.